In the small town of Medina, head basketball coach Bill Carter is setting the example for his players.
Sports director Joe Reinagel joins us now with more. Joe?
You know, you might not see Coach Carter during games or at practices, but his presence is certainly felt, and in a very creative way. Evan Klosky caught up with the coach and his players.
Just like many others during the pandemic, the Medina Bobcats are working from home.
All right, let's go.
Ready? Let's go. Set it up.
This is the Den, the greatest home court advantage in the Hill Country.
Hey, Art.
Ask TJ why he didn't have that pass.
And this is Bill Carter's dining room.
Dakota.
Probably the most unusual place for a head coach to lead his team.
Who's making that pass?
Yeah, it's been a little different.
Assistant Art De La Garza is the acting head coach, but Carter is still the man in charge.
All right.
You know, never in my life I thought that, we'd had a head coach, over virtual before, like teaching us like that.
As you can imagine,
Who is it?
the process has been frustrating at times,
No, the blue attacks the white.
Oh, switch.
especially for a wife.
Well, do I yell, Bonnie? Yes. Well, I try not to yell. The only reason I yell on Zoom is because I can't get anybody's attention.
We'll be doing one thing, and if we do it wrong, we won't know that we did it wrong until like 2 minutes later.
As for games, he might not be on the bench, but he's pretty much doing everything else.
Okay, coach.
My assistant coach, one of us is out here, and one of them's on the phone, and Coach Carter's calling, letting us know what he sees from Facebook Live and still running the show from home.
It's such an ordeal.
Yes, sir.
Not only for the team, but for an 82-year-old with 40-plus years of head coaching experience at the collegiate and high school level.
Most people with any was of sane mind would not be doing this.
After a trip to the doctor this summer, it looked like his coaching days were over.
So in the second week in July, he told me that I had prostate cancer.
Entering August, more bad news.
They took me in and did a bone marrow scan, and I have leukemia. You don't know if you're going to coach. You don't know if you're going to even be able to go back and teach. You don't know how sick you are.
Thanks to chemo and a collection of shots and pills, Carter's health continued to move in the right direction. So with the basketball season looming, in a pandemic, living with a compromised immune system, he had to make a choice.
I decided I wasn't going to let this run my life.
Why is it so important for you to coach?
I think it gives you a purpose every day when you get up.
These kids in the Den would love their coach at practice.
It's kind of hard to admit, but I kind of miss him yelling at us in person.
But as long as he's home,
They better get after it or they're going to run.
in whatever room that is,
Let Boatman take the ball out.
they're happy.
He has 2 types of cancer. He's fighting that, and he still wants to come log into our basketball and watch us play, miss our layups.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be pushing myself as much as I was. And him just fighting his illness and still being able to come and, coach us as our head coach really shows who he really is.
Let's count on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Coach Carter! In Medina with the Bobcats, Evan Klosky, Ken's 5 Sports.
But I just became a big Medina Bobcat fan. And as Carter continues to get better, he hopes to rejoin the Bobcats in person this season. And here's a fun fact about Coach Carter. One of his most notable former players is someone we all know and love. Spurs Sports and Entertainment President and former General Manager of the Spurs, R.C. Buford. Coach Carter coached him in high school back in Kansas, which was many moons ago.
Wow, that's a connection, really.